Namaste. Today we have very special Swamiji, Swamiji Devanand Giri, and very special thing about Swamiji is that Swamiji came to India from Canada at the age of 17, and now Swamiji is at the age of 70. So Swamiji lived a long, or we can say that Swamiji his whole life he lived in India, and very interestingly in between this time he lived in China also for 20 years. So Swamiji have a very long experience of Vedanta, of the Sannyas Marga. So today we have, by his grace, we have the opportunity to talk with him. So let us start our interview with Swamiji. Swamiji, welcome. Swamiji, you have very long experience in Sannyas Marg and in all spiritual Marg. So, can you tell how you came to India from Canada, how you came to India, and what's your journey?
When I was 16 years old, I had I was the product of that generation of being independent and trying to find your own way. But of course, there was some inclination because of my Purva Janma Sanskara. You can't equate it to anything else. So at 16, I had this feeling I wanted to move out from Canada. So I left and I went to Europe, made my way to Israel because I'm Jew by birth.
Okay.
And so I went to Israel, and then from Israel, people were saying, go to India. So I went from Israel to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul, I started to hear more about India, and I had no idea about India from the beginning. I had no idea. No idea about Hindu Dharma or anything like that. So then from Istanbul, I made my way through Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, into India.
By road?
By road,
Okay.
by bus
By bus
and train.
Okay.
In those days, planes were a luxury.
Oh.
And
in 73?
72,
72. Okay.
71, 72.
Okay.
So I never considered even a plane, and no money, just a little. So I went through bus and I arrived in Amritsar, and then I heard about Varanasi, so I went to Varanasi. Immediately I gravitated towards sadhus. And because I didn't have any money, I started to take food in Anakshetra. And I was brought into that lifestyle. So that was my first beginnings in 1971 in India. And at that time, India had just gone into Bangladesh.
Yes, 71 war.
Yeah, the 71 war.
Indo-Pakistan war.
So it was an amazing time in India. And everything was still traditional in India. Not much development.
Yes.
So I got to India in the prime of Indian tradition and Hindutva.
Okay. So Swamiji, thereafter you came in the study of Vedanta. How was your journey from you just came for Bhiksha, you entered in the Sannyas Dharma for Bhiksha, and then you entered in Vedanta course. What was your journey?
Yeah, that was interesting too, because I had gone back to Canada. I was in India for a year and a half, then I went back to Canada, and then I went to India again, and then I came back to Canada. And then this thing was percolating within me about sannyas. I was getting some vairagya going, like coming back and forth and observing the lifestyle of the Western world. So I was being a bit turned off by the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So then I made a firm commitment. I said, okay, I'm going to come to India and enter the ashram.
Mm.
And so I came to India in 77, and I entered Shivananda ashram in Rishikesh. And I stayed there and I studied. It was my first exposure to Vedanta, my first practice of yoga, and my first study of kirtan. And so Shivananda ashram gave me a complete exposure.
So Shivananji was there at that time?
No. That was Chidanandji.
Okay, Chidanandji Maharaj.
Yeah, and Krishnanandji.
Krishnanandji was there.
So that was my first exposure to all this Raja Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Karma Yoga. That idea in Shivananda. So it was a blessing that I was able to stay there. I stayed there for 9 months. And then I moved up to Uttarkashi.
Okay.
And in Uttarkashi, I met the Sadhu Samaj there, and I was taken into. I was cared for by a number of sadhus there, and from Uttarkashi I went to Gangotri.
Okay.
And in Gangotri I met my first guru, Swami Hamsananda Tirth.
Okay.
And Swamiji initiated me into Hindu Dharma.
As a sannyasi?
No, as a brahmachari.
Okay.
He gave me a formal initiation with Havan and Panchagavyam and Sandhya Vandanam and Gayatri Mantra.
All ritual happened.
Yeah, all the ritual happened. But I was initiated as a Naishtika Brahman.
In 1977?
This was 1978.
78, okay.
And incidentally, that was the first year that foreigners were allowed to go to Uttarkashi.
Oh.
So because of the war with China, those areas were still restricted. So 78 was the first year I was able to go to Uttarkashi and then to Gangotri. And so Swami Hamsananda, who was a learned sannyasi and a Dandi
Swamiji,
he took me under his wing and he showed compassion and he let me stay there in the ashram with him.
Till a Dandi ashram is there in Gangotri.
That same ashram is there today. It's called Hamsa Kutir. Okay. And Hamsa Gufa.
Okay.
So when you pass from Gangamai temple,
yes,
and you go on that side and you pass Shivananda ashram,
yes,
then the next one is Hams Kutir.
Okay.
And you can see it says Hams Kutir written there. And so Swamiji was there, and he took me under his wing, initiated me into Brahmachari Diksha. And so I would stay with him for a couple of weeks. And one time I accompanied Swamiji to Gomukh. Because Swamiji had a kutir in Gomukh.
Okay.
And he used to stay there in winter. So he used to leave Gangotri and go to his kutir in Gomukh and stay there for winter. So he would keep provisions there. And stay. So some of those Virak sadhus, they enjoyed the peace and quiet of that area too. And so I accompanied him to Gomukh that time. And I would visit him every couple of weeks. I was staying in Uttarkashi.
Okay, Uttarkashi.
So Swamiji said, you don't stay in Gangotri, you live in Uttarkashi. So I would go and visit him in Gangotri. And he was a very grand sannyasi. They all loved him up there. He was already a Buddha Mahatma in those years when I met him. And the greatness of of Swami Hamsananda, he was a Dandi, initiated as a Brahmin Dandi sannyasi, but he took me out of caste.
Otherwise, they are not taking.
Otherwise, they would never have anything to do with foreigners. So this was his greatness of spirit, even as a Krisht Brahman, you know. So then I was living in Uttarkashi, in Soma Ashram, which I'm sure you've heard of. That now it's Brahmanand Vidyapith, where they're teaching Vedanta. Before it was called Soma Ashram, and there used to be a few cottages there where Swamis used to live. And I used to attend Bhandara occasionally at Chinmay Mission, Tapovan Kutir. So one time I was sitting there in the Bhandara, and a camp had come from Swami Viditatmananda, who at that time was called Swarup Chaitanya. So Swamiji saw me in the Pankti, and he called me out and he talked to me. And he said, would you like to come to Chinmay Mission, Sandipani, to study Vedanta? I said, sure, Swamiji, I'd love to come. So after the camp, I immediately went and packed off to Bombay, Powai, for the study of Vedanta. So that was my formal...
At that time also 2-year course was there?
Yeah, 2-year course.
In which year, Swamiji?
1980.
1980.
So I was there from 1980 to 1982. And of course, at that time we got to see the Grand Master Swami Chinmayananda, who used to come in and out of his trips from Dubai or America. So we also had his darshan. And we attended some of his Gita Gyan Yagyas, and it was a good time. We had good Sanskrit teachers and good teaching from Chaitanya Vidyatmananda. And then
Swami Dayanandji was there at that time?
No, I never met Swami Dayananda. The separation between Chinmay Mission and Arsha Vidya was happening at that time. So Swami Dayananda never came to the ashram. So that was, I completed my studies there, and I came back to, actually I completed my studies, but in the interim I had gone to Gandhi Nature Cure Ashram. For some treatment, because I was interested in nature cure. My health was never very good in India, and so I went there for some treatment, and at that time I met a boy who showed me photos of his guru and things written about his guru. And so I realized this was a great saint. So after the course was finished, I went to Kerala and I met Swami Prabhananda Giri. And I felt a connection with him. And so I stayed with Swami Prabhanandaji, and I was with him until he attained final samadhi.
So you had taken sannyas diksha from Swamiji?
Prabhananda Giri.
Yeah. Okay.
So I felt that he was...
In which year, Swamiji?
This was 1983.
83.
Yeah. So I attended the course in 80.
So you have experience of, as a sannyas, experience of more than 41 years.
Yes. So when I met Swami Prabhanandaji, I felt I'd met my Sakshat Guru. So I continued with him, and I was with him until he left his body.
Okay. Then Swamiji, how you went to China?
Well, what happened was in 84, I started to get sick. I got tuberculosis. and I was roaming up in Haridwar, and I was staying in Giri ashram, and I was progressively getting sicker, and I didn't know what the problem was. You know, I'd been to some homeopaths, and they didn't diagnose me correctly. And then I went to Ramakrishna Mission Hospital in Kankal, and they took the x-rays and they found I had tuberculosis. So my friends in Boragiri, they said, you should go back to Canada for treatment. So I went back to Canada for treatment, and I was, within 4 months I was cured. No symptoms anymore, and due to the allopathic treatment. So I can say that for acute illness, allopathy is good in cases like that, tuberculosis. So then I was fine. But then I remained in Canada. You know, I started to study in Canada, actually. I went to university and I studied Sanskrit and Hindi.
Sanskrit and Hindi you studied in Canada?
In Canada.
Okay. From India you went to Canada, and there you are studying Sanskrit and Hindi. Great.
So I continued my study of Sanskrit at the university and Hindi. And then, of course...
So there are Sanskrit and Hindi universities are there?
Departments.
Department
at the University of Toronto.
University departments are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I started to study yoga. So I joined a class of Iyengar yoga.
Oh.
And I was practicing yoga. And I stayed in Canada. Oh yeah, then I started my interest in traditional Chinese medicine. So, you know, I was sick, and I wanted to get over my sickness, and I wanted to create health for myself. And of course, people that are unhealthy, they become healthy, so they have this feeling that they want to extend their knowledge and help the world in that respect. So I wanted to become a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, or you could say doctor of Chinese medicine. So I went to university. I went to college to study that. I studied traditional massage, I studied acupuncture and traditional Chinese herbal medicine.
So you are studying all these things as you are sannyasi. As a sannyasi you are studying everything. Okay.
So I wanted to extend myself into the health field because I know how valuable health is. So I studied yoga, first of all, and yoga is a very important element in a person's health, especially in India. And then I studied traditional medicine, natural medicine, which translated in the form of acupuncture, herbal medicine, and massage. So these are energetic medicines, moving. They treat the energetic body. So a lot of the disease originates from that. You know, mental and energetic is imbalance. So I completed my study and I practiced for a few years, and then I started to get the itch to go back to India, and so I was living in China from 2000, teaching yoga.
So you was in China from 2000 to 2020?
Yeah. So I went to China for further studies in acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and
then you started practicing there?
Then I started practicing as well as teaching yoga.
Okay.
And I was studying Tai Chi. So Tai Chi is an energetic practice. It's a martial art of China.
Okay.
So I started to follow that, and I followed a number of teachers in China during my stay there. So right now, as far as my effort to teach and to propagate natural health. So I teach yoga, I teach Tai Chi, I do treatments in acupuncture, herbal medicine, and massage.
Okay. So you in 20 you came back to India. Now you are in Kerala.
Yeah, well, my guru's ashram is always in Kerala, and most of the time I'm in Rishikesh,
Oh,
in Himalaya.
okay.
But I return to my guru's ashram every year or two and take darshan there and sit there quietly in the peace of our ashram. And but I've established myself in Rishikesh now, and I will continue my work in
So
Rishikesh.
Swamiji, you have very long experience of spirituality, long experience of yoga, and you were in China for 20 years, and you travel a lot. So any message you want to give to our viewers?
Yes, life has to be a balance,
Okay.
and you have to live a balanced lifestyle as far as food and spiritual practice. And spiritual practice doesn't dawn overnight, so you have to continue your study of Shastra, as far as the Prasthanatraya is concerned, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad and Brahma Sutra, to keep yourself informed of your goal. And then on the path you should take some yoga practice also, as far as asana, pranayama, mudra, bandha, dhyanam. This is very important for your spiritual growth. So combined with study of Shastra and proper food, diet, sattvic diet, not a lot of rajasic khana that will disturb your mind, and then the practice of yogasana to keep your body fit, because as sannyasis and as spiritual aspirants, we don't give the importance to the body, but you should give minimum importance to the body through the practice of yogasana to keep yourself healthy. And so, and pranayama to nourish your cells with vital life force that we can all utilize from the atmosphere through the practice of pranayama.
So Swamiji had talked about the healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy spiritual life. So we thank Swamiji for his valuable time he had given to us, and I think we should have more interviews, and we should have some details interview in naturopathy and yoga with Swamiji. So for now, we thank Swamiji. Thanks Swamiji. Thank you for joining us. Hari Om.